Yo, welcome to the first episode of Stocks and Bars. I am Extro and I thank you for tuning in. So, each podcast, I want to be able to share some of the simple financial information that I gathered over the years. I have a passion to share what I learned about using money as a tool. Now, I want to start this journey with you by just telling you how I started my journey. It's a long journey and it's an appreciative journey because where I came from definitely is not where I am at right now in my life. So I started off investing around 23 or 24 years old. And at this time, I'm just a regular old guy who's just getting ready to get out of college. I'm doing, like three jobs at any given time. I usually have like three jobs. I was a DJ, I worked at FedEx, and I worked at Kids R Us, right? So I'm jumbling all of these jobs. And I specifically remember points where I'm like, yo, I got all these jobs. Where's this bread at, right? Like, how in the world do I have three jobs and I do not have like stability? So at this time, I'm also doing music. And I was in a group with my brother, called ourselves Team Tuck. That's how the history is. So we doing this, and there was a point where I was mixing down some music, and I was also having some other stuff going on. Not affiliated with money, but just arguments within myself about like I'm just tired of hearing myself complain about stuff. So for whatever reason, I started tuning in to CNBC in my off time when I'm doing music. For whatever reason, like I said, it's just out of the blue. So CNBC is on in the background, mixing down this song. And anybody who knows, who does music, you usually have a headphone on one ear and then the headphone off on the other ear so you can kind of tune into both worlds. So it's on in the background. As I'm mixing this song, a commercial comes on for like something called Invest Tools. And it comes on quite a few times. And for whatever reason, this time it stuck out to me. And it was telling me about, if you want to learn this, we have this seminar or whatever, call this number. So immediately I said, why don't I give my chance the shot to learn this? I'm pretty sure they're going to sell me something. However, let me at least inquire. So I called the number. They tell me they have something going on up north. So I said, all right, where's it at? What time? Jot down the details. Boom. So I'm en route now, going to this place. They have it at this hotel. And we're all sitting there. There's probably about maybe 20, 25 other people in there, including myself. And we were in there, and there was two instructors. It was a gentleman and a woman. If I remember right, they were a married couple. And they come on and they start doing a little presentation. It was probably like 2 hours. So I'm intrigued. Whole entire presentation. It ends. It was on a Saturday. And at the end of it, here comes the pitch. If you want to continue XYZ, boom, 2000. So that automatically weeded out the crowd, right? Everyone's like, ooh, And then I remember myself sitting there telling myself, okay, it's $2,000. At any point in time in this music business, I'm going to at least spend $2,000 doing something that may or may not return to me. Why can I not invest it in myself? So I was like, all right, you're right. let's go. So I made a decision right then and there. I just did it. I had 2,000. Let's just go. So I did it, and I came back the next day and got more information. And obviously they will spend more, if you want to do this, and now it's 10,000. I was like, all right, you got me. I'm not going down a rabbit hole. So got what I got out of that. And I was learning about options. So I go home, I'm calling my brother, I'm calling, my good friend, and I'm letting them know about what I just experienced. And, at the time in life, they weren't on it. They still musically inclined, which is cool. So a lot of my raps at that point started really incorporating, you know, investing and, making money work for you and all that. So this is like the final stages of, music for me. Now, I got a basis and I'm trying to figure out now, how do I get to where I want to go? So I spent that 2000, but as I told you, I had 3 jobs and have no idea why I really don't have more money than this. So I needed to start saving. I didn't have a lot of money. So what do? I said, all right, let me start what I normally do anyway, is start setting aside money. At this time, I was saving like $20 a week, just putting something away because my grandfather always taught me to pay yourself first. So $20 stashed up turns to 25. You start cutting some corners here. Turns to 30, turns to 35, turns to 40, turns to 45. So I started doing increments of 10 because that's what I could afford to budget at the time. And I got up to about $50 a week. So $50 a week is getting saved. End of the year, I got over $2,000, right? Now I'm ready to go. So I got my money and I start swinging for the fences. I know nothing. I mean, I did get my basis. Like I said, there was a basis. And when you start off in this journey, you kind of acquire a lot of knowledge at one time, right? So you got so much and you're so excited and you're pulling so much information from every angle that comes out. I got CNBC on and they telling me, this stock. And then you got, chatter going on somewhere else about this stock. And then after a while, you build up so much information that you just really do not know where to start at all. And I want to let you know that's okay because that's part of the process. You have to be able to expose yourself to this new information and develop your own path. So, what I eventually ended up doing was using all that information, losing all of my money at once, and rebuilding the whole brand over again. But this time it was going to be a little bit different, right? Because that's how you continue to learn. So I got all that information, lost the money, do it again. Did the same process, made sure I saved money. This time I was comfortable with doing the 50. So I continued to do that and I built it a little bit quicker than a year. It was probably like 6-7 months or something like that. So now I got my money back. Going into it, all that stuff that I used to invest in, I looked at my history of what I used to trade and determined which ones I was good at. So that huge watch list that I had inside of my platform dwindled down to maybe about 20 to 30 stocks. These are the ones I'm good at. I'm going to do those now. So that process worked pretty good. And then obviously the next thing to do is whittle that down too to what you're good at out of those. And in turn turned out to be some hot stocks that you know about right now, which are Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Alphabet, which is Google, Netflix, and Tesla. And all this was around, I want to say 2010, 2009, 2010, something like that. I think it was at that age. I remember the stock market crash and being influenced in that time saying, okay, I really need to learn what's going on. So I learned some more about this after I learned the first time. I did not learn my lesson. I still had aggressive tendencies and again lost money. So at this time, I lost my hat three times. I only described to you two, but there is definitely a third time where I lost it all. And I did not know how to manage my money. And this is going to be a common problem. You need to be able to pace yourself in this journey because if you throw it all out, there's a chance that the market's going to take all of it from you. So you need to be able to release that in waves. So I had to hit the ground running later, is what I understood. And I had to try to surround myself with people who can help me get better. Now, my circle of friends at the time, we talked the normal, you know, we talked the normal money stuff, and that's about not about growing it, but just about it in general. Okay, um, we talked about girls, we talked about music, we talked about luxury items and all of that good stuff. However, investing was not in that conversation. So I need to get people around me who are going to enhance me. Where do I find that at? Physically, I know it's not out there. And I could do the uh, the network events and all that stuff. And I met some good people out of that. I can't say I'm in contact with them now, but at the time, I did do that. So where do I find these people at? I remember Twitter being around and following sports figures and all that stuff. So I decided to use Twitter as a tool to find other people who invest because they use the algorithm, and what they did was spit people out who are like, you may like this person or whatever. So I started to just kind of go around and go on Twitter and look for some financial people who are just out there and start adding them. So I started adding them. Then the algorithm started feeding me more people who are like them. So slowly my Twitter started to shift away from, the rappers and I said the basketball players and all that type of stuff. Now I have substance. So more people start getting fed to me. I'll start adding them and just kind of looking at their feeds and everything. Some of these people have websites. So I go to their websites and look, and obviously all of them are doing something where they're charging or whatever. If you want to get some information from them, it's like $100 a month or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I'm not at that stage right now. I'm just trying to do what I gotta do. So what I did was dig a little bit deeper and look at their sites. Some of their sites had literature that you could get. And what they shared was books that they, recommend. And a lot of them had books that were in common. So I notated each one of the websites, wrote down the books that they had, and that's how I found out they had them in common. And then I either purchased the book or went to the library and checked it out. And I remember it was like a winter where I just locked myself in, right? I told my wife at the time, like, this is the journey I'm going to go on. I'm going to come home from work and I'm going to dedicate at least an hour to reading this book each day. Obviously, that took away a little bit of time from us, but that gave me the discipline to get going on this. So I did not trade at all during this period. All I did was read. I read and I took notes, still have these notes to this day, and I applied those notes to the market actively. I did not trade my money, but I did paper trade over this time for the things that I saw and applied to the market. So it was a period of that winter, and I remember coming back out in May. I want to say it was like May of 2012 or 2013. And I remember coming out feeling vigilant, like I'm going, right? So I used my little $2,000 that I had stashed away, and I turned that into $10,000 in 1 month. Now, this was using an aggressive strategy I do not use currently because over that time span, I continued to use that and it was a hit or miss. So I never really found that consistency of returning money because it was chasing that trade to get more money, right? And so I learned a valuable lesson, which is I do not trade for money, I trade for the trade. Now, to some people that is confusing. To me, it makes beautiful sense because I look for the environment that is going to give me the return versus trying to create the environment to give me a return. It has to exist first before I'm even interested. So that's the biggest mindset change that I have gained over this experience. And from there, once I understood that, I started to get consistency where I would find the environment that the money can make itself. So, needless to say, now I'm definitely a lot better at what I do. And I have started to attract other people who also do things with money. And it's not just going to be in stocks, there's real estate, there's other financial ways of making money. And now those people automatically gravitate towards me. And that's because the energy that I gave out started to come right back. And I'm sharing all this with you because I'm no different than you are. There's nothing different about me that made me any more special to get where I'm at. And if you're at a place in life where I used to be at, I want you to know that you can get there. It's not difficult at all. The only thing it's going to take is one, acknowledging it. The next step is putting a plan together to get out of it. You need some discipline because if you don't have that, you're not going to survive in any atmosphere, period. You're going to need the discipline. You got to be able to say, this is what I'm going to dedicate to it. And if I end up doing more, then that's because you want to do more. But you got to be able to put that basis in front of you to say, I'm going to do it. And this is how I'm going to do it. And then you'll be glad that you did it. So that is my experience. I got nothing else to say about that. So any questions, you can always hit me up. And thank you for checking me out on this. And now let's turn it over to the bars.
I was looking at my life, I needed to change it. I was told to get this money, I need to chase it. To attain this, that means I had to log more hours at the plantation. To get them hard-earned dollars, I need a plan facelift. Now is the time to change this. It was now or never, that decision was made quick. Got into investing, and I ain't been the same since. Money started talking to me, and we became friends. Now it's like we one and the same. We became twins. It wasn't long ago we were boys, and we became men. I changed trends on the same strength. Bank account order bars, I'm still dangerous. I share what I know so we can have the same wins. There's no excuse for your future, claim it. Ain't no time better than now to have your game switch. Inspiration from the bars, you know who the name is, it's X.